Hey, how you doing? Bruce Major here with the Major Home Team and Realty One Group. And this is Lunch with the Yankee Realtor. All right, today I want to talk to you about making an offer. Yesterday you saw the video on homes and you've taken a look at the home, you've decided that you like the home and you want to buy it. So now you want to put in an offer. And at this point, we get some documents to sign, and one of them would be an exclusive right to buyer contract, which means that you will enter into a contract between the brokerage and yourself, which the brokerage is actually Realty One Group, and myself. I am the representative of Realty One Group. The purpose of the contract is to help you find a home within a certain price range and within a certain criteria and area that you're looking for. So that's the purpose of it. It's spells out what I need to do for you. It also describes the certain duties of the broker and the certain duties of the buyer as well. So we both have things that we need to do in order to help each other out. This contract will also explain the compensation to the broker. Okay. And in addition to that, the contract will also spell out the term, the length of the agreement of our agency together, how long it's going to last. Okay? It could be 3 months, a month, 6 months. It all depends on how long it takes for you to find the house. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on, there's also what they call a wire fraud document. This document here is to make sure, it's a warning to you, to make sure that you understand that you don't wire any money to anyone unless you get verification from whoever you're wiring it to. For instance, if an attorney asks you to wire some money, you call that attorney first and you make sure that they actually really did request to have money wired. Otherwise, it could be a fraud. I personally, or my brokerage, will never, ever ask anybody to wire any money anywhere. Clever people out there, they steal emails and they make them look very professional, very real. And we don't want that to happen to you. So we need to warn you about this wire fraud scam going on, and you sign it saying that we've told you about it and you're aware of it. All right, now we get into the meat of the whole thing, which is the actual offer, contract offer that you're going to fill out. And this is a contract between you and the seller, okay? And they'll specify the house and the address and all, the obvious stuff, all right, for a specific price. And this contract is about certain financial terms as well. And there will be a target date for the closing. You will, on this document, you will specify, when you expect to close on this. And typically 30 days is about what it takes to, between the time it takes where an offer is accepted and the closing table is usually approximately 30 days, give or take a little bit. But sometimes there's some contingencies where things get pushed out. So in this contract, there'll also be an extension date. So let's say you go through the contract, something happens, you're going to need an extra 10 days or so, business days. So that'll already be specified in the contract, so people don't have to get all the new signatures all over again just to extend it. So that's also in there. You will also specify how much money you're willing to use as earnest money. Earnest money is essentially money that you're willing to pay in the event that you cancel the contract for reasons within your own control. Okay? For some reason you decide halfway through, I don't want to buy it. That's it. I just don't want to buy it. No particular reason. It's just nothing else happened outside of you deciding just you don't want to buy it. Well, you see, that money will now be awarded to the seller as compensation for the time the home has been off the market during the process. You see, that buyer could have gotten another buyer who would follow through on it. So that money, that earnest money, is to show how earnestly you want to buy this house. And you put it on the line, and an attorney holds it in escrow. So that way, it's a third party. The closing attorney, or it could be someone else. Usually it's an attorney. It could be the brokerage as well. But a third party who holds it, and should you just hypothetically, well, that's it, I'm done, I don't want to buy the house. And the seller's like, hey, I took this house off the market, so that money's not mine. And so, but should the contract be canceled due to circumstances beyond your control, okay, the money will be awarded back to you. For instance, you can't follow through because of financing. Okay, you were seeking financing. You got your pre-approval, but your pre-qualification, but you didn't get your approval. You're going through underwriting. Something went wrong in the financing or something. Somebody, didn't divulge some information or whatever, and suddenly you can't get financing. Well, that's outside of your control, so that money will come back to you. Okay? And let's see. But if you do follow through with the whole contract, that earnest money will be applied to your closing costs. So it's not like, it gets wasted or anything. It's actually applied to your closing costs to your benefit, And you will be able to request from the seller to pay a specified amount towards your closing costs in this contract. So in addition to how much you're offering for the house, you could also ask for closing costs. And depending on how much closing costs you ask for can strengthen your offer. For instance, if you don't ask for any closing costs, well, then the value that you're willing to pay, that whatever that number is, that is much stronger than saying and asking someone, "Oh, I'm willing to pay this much for the house if you will also pay X amount of money for my closing costs." Well, that takes away from out of his pocket. So obviously your offer is stronger if you don't need to, if you can pay for your own closing costs. But that can also be a bargaining tool. You can go in and ask for it, but you might not need it. But it's okay to ask. And they might come back and say, well, maybe not so much. I'll give you only some of the closing costs, and maybe not as much as you asked for. And you can bargain back and forth like that until you come to an agreement. Come to an agreement, a combination of price and closing costs, okay? So, that's a good bargaining tool to start out with that. And oftentimes I like to start, depending on the home, depending on how long it's been on the market, depending on what the market is saying, the price of the house, I might automatically ask for closing costs. And because it's been there for a long time, I could ask for all kinds of things. I could sense that maybe they're getting a little desperate to get rid of the house. But at the same time, if the house just hit the market and I know it's at the right price range, the right price point, I wouldn't dare ask for closing costs, because that thing is going to sell in a heartbeat. And if you really want it, then you're going to put out your strongest offer that you can, or you're going to lose it. Someone else is going to buy it. So it's something that you have to consider. Okay. Now, you also have a right to have the home inspected. Okay, by a licensed inspector for structural, functional, and cosmetic reasons. You have the house. You want to know what you're buying, so you have it inspected and see if there's anything wrong with the house. And in addition to that, you're going to want to have the house inspected by a termite inspector. Now, termite inspectors very broad range, but they also inspect for mold and wood-boring insects, more than just termites, and also the environmental conditions maybe underneath the house, if it's got a crawl space, moisture content. It's all very important to which the moisture content lends itself to. If it's too high, mold. If it's too high, and that mold will also lend itself to wood-boring insects, right? So all of that, you'll have that inspection done and make sure your house got a clean bill of health, or at the very least, everything that the inspector found that might be needs some work, you know what I mean, some repairs or something, okay? And so, it's not mandatory that you have these inspections, but I highly recommend them to every one of my clients, so you know what you're buying, okay? In your offer, you can ask the seller to purchase a home warranty. In your offer, you can say, I want a home warranty from such and such a warranty company that has a value of approximately $500 to $600, and that warranty is good for a year, and it covers all the appliances that come with the house. It covers the heating system, it covers the cooling system, it covers a whole host of other systems within the house, including, you know, the microwave and the stove and the dishwasher. And that home warranty, boy, I recommend it every single time, because you get that home for the first year. Last thing you want to do is have to deal with appliances breaking down on you. So, you know, that is definitely a big plus. And it's hardly ever not purchased. It's almost expected, because it's such a practical thing to do, and it's also practical for the seller to throw it in there as well as a you know, an incentive, you know. So home warranties, awesome. I highly recommend them. You will, I mentioned before, an attorney may hold your earnest money check, so you get to choose the attorney that you want for closing. And if you don't know any attorneys, I can recommend several that you can choose from. And you know, so you're not going to be stranded out there. I'll find you an attorney, and you can interview them and find out which ones are best for you. And all right, so you found the attorney, you did all the inspections and all that, and now the offer has been completed. You said you haven't done any inspections. That's the next video. But anyway, you sent the offer over for the other side to look at, and you're going to send it to the seller's agent, and you're going to put an expiration date on this. Okay, they only have a certain many hours or days that you are going to specify before they have to get back to you and respond whether or not they'll accept your offer. They can't sit on it forever. You have to specify a particular time period when either you're going to say yes or no, or come back with something else. So there you have it. Okay. Well, there's one thing I hadn't touched on yet, and that is the repairs. In this total process of filling out this this offer form, you're going to specify what happens if the house does need repairs. And it can be addressed in two different ways. It can be addressed where you send out a request form and ask the seller to pay pay for and fix all or some of the discrepancies that was found. Or you can do your due diligence, in which case you're pretty much on your own. If you find something that's unacceptable, you can back out. If there's nothing that isn't unacceptable, then you can just go ahead and move forward. I can get into that in much more detail later, maybe in another video. Okay, so this has been a very quick skim over of how you place an offer. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful. It's not as difficult as it seems to put in an offer. A lot of it's on me. I would love to be able to help you and put an offer on a house for you. If you like this video, please comment below that you like it. Share with your friends. Make comments. Do whatever you want with it. All right. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching. God bless you, and God bless America.